Before the prayers, before the pilgrims, the city must wake. This is not a city of spirits, but of systems. A sovereign nation the size of a golf course, running on the labor of thousands you never see. Its army carries halberds. Its police direct traffic between priceless frescoes. Its pharmacy dispenses medicine under the same roof as the Pope's private chapel. A librarian turns a 1,000-year-old manuscript page beside a humming supercomputer. An astronomer in Arizona searches for new planets while, in Rome, engineers walk the ancient sewers beneath the Sistine Chapel. How does a medieval theocracy function as a modern state? What does it take to preserve eternity while processing 6 million visitors a year? It is a place where the spiritual meets the logistical, where faith is supported by fiber optic cables, and where salvation has a help desk. The world sees the ceremony. This is the machinery. When the last tourist leaves and the gates close, the real work is just beginning. The world knows this place in daylight. It knows the soaring dome against a Roman sky, the vast sweep of the square, the river of pilgrims flowing toward the bronze doors. It knows the echo of hymns and the murmur of prayer, but before the light there is another city. A city of footsteps on empty stone, of whispered radios in dark corridors, of machines humming to life in the deep quiet before dawn. This is the hour when the state prepares itself, when the mechanisms of a sovereign nation, contained within the footprint of a city park, are wound and set in motion. The day does not begin with ceremony. It begins with the turn of a key in a service gate, the glow of a work lamp on damp gravel, the first breath of steam from a paper cup held in cold hands. This is the unseen prologue, the moment before the curtain rises. It is a country of 44 hectares, a territory you can walk across in 20 minutes. Within its walls are less than 500 citizens, but on any given day, it employs an army of 4,500 souls. It mints its own euros, prints its own passports, issues its own license plates, and administers its own laws. It is the smallest internationally recognized sovereign state on Earth, a fact that is both a legal technicality and a daily reality for everyone who works within its walls. This is not a theme park or a museum complex, though it contains the most visited museums in the world. It is a functioning city-state, with all the hidden machinery that implies. Its sovereignty is expressed not just in treaties and diplomatic notes, but in the morning delivery of bread, the scheduling of a plumbing repair, and the precise trimming of a hedge along a border that is also a garden wall. The pulse of this day begins not with the sun, but with the stars still faintly visible overhead. By 5 in the morning, the first workers are already inside the perimeter. The grounds and gardens crew moves through the darkness with the quiet efficiency of those who own the silence. Their domain is immense. The Vatican gardens occupy nearly half of the entire territory, a sprawling landscape of manicured lawns, Renaissance fountains, shaded groves, and winding paths. This is not merely landscaping, it is a curated environment, a living component of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Their work is an obligation of beauty and of function. They test irrigation lines, listening for the hiss of water in the pre-dawn hush. They sweep the pathways that will, in a few short hours, be trodden by thousands of visitors. Every leaf cleared, every edge trimmed, is an act of preparation for a global audience that expects perfection. The city cannot feed itself, nor supply itself. Everything must come in from the outside world. Before 5:30, the first logistics vehicles begin to arrive at the controlled access points that punctuate the ancient walls. A refrigerated truck carrying dairy and produce for the staff cafeterias, a van with bakery goods, a delivery of office supplies, of cleaning materials, of technical parts for the printing press. Each vehicle is met at the gate. Each driver presents documentation that is checked, not with bureaucratic slowness, but with deliberate thoroughness. This is the first daily assertion of sovereignty, the control of the border. The protocol for a crate of tomatoes is not so different from the protocol for a diplomatic pouch. It is a reminder that this is both a workplace and a nation. The gates are thresholds between jurisdictions, and crossing them is never casual. Simultaneously, in the labyrinth beneath the palaces and museums, another kind of preparation is underway. The maintenance and engineering crews begin their pre-opening sweep. Theirs is a world of service corridors, machine rooms, and electrical closets. A night shift report may note an elevator in the museum complex that was acting sluggish, a humidity sensor in a conservation gallery that triggered an alert, a flickering light in a corridor of the Apostolic Palace. These are not emergencies, but they are priorities. The engineering team operates on an unspoken principle. The building, the system, the state itself can never be seen to fail. The visitor's experience must be one of seamless operation. So, in the dark, a technician in a yellow vest traces a circuit with a voltage meter. Another listens to the bearings of an elevator motor. They are the keepers of the invisible infrastructure that allows history and art to be displayed and governance to function without interruption. While the gardeners and engineers work in relative solitude, the security apparatus of the state is conducting its formal transition. The Gendarmerie Corps, the police and judicial police force of Vatican City, never sleeps. Its operations center is always manned. The overnight shift, bleary-eyed from a quiet watch, prepares its log. Every perimeter check, every radio call, every minor incident is recorded. As the morning shift filters in, shrugging into uniform jackets, there is a brief, structured ceremony of transfer. The shift commander from the night hands over not just the log, but the intangible weight of responsibility for the city's safety. The incoming commander's first act is a briefing, reviewing the overnight events and the day's schedule. Then, a systematic check of every post, from the gates to the patrol routes. Authority is transferred in words and nods, a ritual as old as policing itself. This is the hidden choreography. A ballet performed without an audience, where the dancers are gardeners, drivers, electricians, and police officers. Their movements are not grand, but they are precise. They intersect in the dark, a gardener stepping aside for a delivery cart, an engineer nodding to a gendarmerie officer on his rounds. There is a rhythm to it, born of routine and mutual understanding. Each person is a specialist, yet their tasks are interdependent. The gardens must be ready because the visitors will come. The gates must be secure because the deliveries are essential. The lights must function because the work of the city cannot pause. This pre-dawn symphony is the foundation upon which the entire spectacle of the day will be built. It is the setting of the stage before the first note of the overture. The quiet is not empty, it is charged with potential. In the dimness, the silhouettes of Bernini's colonnades are just beginning to emerge from the night. The first faint wash of grey light touches the top of the dome. Within the walls, the tempo begins to quicken, almost imperceptibly. More gates are unlocked. More lights flick on in office windows. The radio traffic on the Gendarmerie network becomes slightly more frequent. The city is shifting from its nocturnal state to its diurnal one. The crews that arrived in darkness are now well into their routines, their initial tasks complete or nearing completion. They have created the conditions for normality. They have ensured that when the first administrative staff arrive, when the first museum ticket takers take their posts, when the first pilgrims line up at the bronze door, everything will be in its place. The illusion of effortless operation will be intact. This meticulous, unseen preparation is the true signature of the Vatican as a working state. Its grandeur is historical and spiritual, but its functionality is modern and administrative. The two realities coexist in this early morning window. A man pruning a rosebush is tending a garden in a sovereign nation. A woman checking a thermostat is protecting a global cultural patrimony. Their job titles are humble, but their context is immense. They are not just employees, they are, in a quiet way, custodians of an idea. The idea that this tiny, ancient enclave can and must operate with the efficiency and order of any modern country, despite its unique constraints and its global scrutiny. The pressure of that expectation is felt not in drama, but in the details. In the tightness of a hose connection, the clarity of a log entry, the smooth glide of an elevator door. Soon, the character of the city will change dramatically. The quiet will be broken by the sounds of arrival, the rumble of buses, the chatter of tour groups, the solemn prayers of the faithful. The public face of the Vatican will awaken. But that transition, that moment when the state opens its doors to the world, is itself a security and logistical event of considerable complexity. It requires a different kind of precision, a different kind of vigilance. The handover from the pre-dawn preparers to the daytime guardians is a critical pivot. And standing at the center of that pivot is the corps tasked with public order, with traffic control, with managing the delicate interface between the working city and the visiting world. Their day is about to begin in earnest. The rhythm established in the dark now accelerates. The logistical foundation has been laid. The pathways are clear, the systems are live, the perimeter is secure. The city is primed. But a new wave of people is approaching. The day shift workers, the accredited clergy, the early bird contractors. They will stream through the same gates the delivery vans used, but in far greater numbers, and each must be processed, identified, and admitted according to a complex matrix of access levels. This is the next test of the morning's preparations. It is the moment when the behind-the-scenes choreography meets the first crowd. The focus shifts from maintenance to management, from solitary tasks to human traffic. The quiet, systematic world of the pre-dawn cruise gives way to a more dynamic, more public, and more demanding phase of the day. The guardians of the threshold are about to become the busiest people in the city. The first light is a suggestion, a pale wash of grey over the Tiber. The city of Rome is still a murmur of distant traffic, a world of sleep and dreams. But within the high walls, along the silent colonnades, a different kind of waking is already complete. Here, in this smallest of sovereign states, the night never truly falls. Vigilance is a constant, a rhythm as old as the stones themselves. It is a rhythm maintained not by ancient ghosts, but by a modern, watchful presence. Before the first gardener checks a hose, before the first delivery van approaches a gate, they are already in position. They are the ones who hold the keys, both literal and metaphorical, to the dawn. This is the Gendarmerie Corps of Vatican City State. It is the primary law enforcement body of the Holy See's territorial government, a compact but full-spectrum police force. Its responsibilities encompass everything from public order and criminal investigation to traffic regulation and judicial police functions. Operating under the Directorate of Security and Civil Protection Services, the Corps maintains a seamless, around-the-clock presence. They are the operational spine of the state's security, the point where protocol meets the unpredictable flow of human activity. Their jurisdiction may be measured in hectares, but its complexity is global in scale. They police a living museum, a working government, and a spiritual capital, all within a walkable enclave. The new day is formally taken on not with a sunrise, but with a briefing. In a functional, modern office within the barracks, a shift commander stands before his officers. The room is quiet, attentive. The briefing is structured, methodical. It begins with the night's log, any incidents, any observations from the patrols that walk the empty courtyards. Then, the commander turns to the day ahead. This is the crucial pivot. He reads from the official schedule of events. A committee meeting here, a private audience there. The expected visitor volume for the museums is noted. Any changes to access protocols for specific gates are clarified. This is the baseline, but some days are not baseline days. When a papal audience is scheduled, the briefing expands. The document grows thicker. Crowd management plans, drawn from a deep institutional memory of past events, are reviewed. The geometry of St. Chobry. Peter's Square is discussed not as architecture, but as a space to be safely filled and emptied. Additional posts are assigned: officers for the barriers, officers for the pilgrim queues, officers for the coordination points. And a critical line of communication is confirmed, the link to the Swiss Guard ceremonial staff. The Gendarmerie handles the outer perimeter and the public spaces. The Swiss Guard protects the person of the Pope and the Apostolic Palace. Their coordination must be silent, instinctive, and flawless. The briefing ends not with a shout, but with a nod. The plan is set. Now, the city begins to arrive. The logistical peak arrives between 6 and 9 in the morning. This is when Vatican City, as a workplace, comes to life. The gates, particularly the staff entrance at the Sant'Anna Gate, become funnels of controlled activity. Hundreds of people converge, priests and nuns in traditional habits, civil servants in business attire, museum conservators in practical clothes, gardeners in work boots, contractors with toolboxes. Each holds a different level of accreditation. Each has a specific destination. The gendarmerie officers at these checkpoints perform a rapid, continuous ballet of verification. A glance at a photo ID, a check against a daily manifest, a question, a wave through. It looks routine. It is anything but. Managing this flow is an exercise in compressed complexity. Hundreds of individuals with distinct authorizations must pass through a very small number of portals in a tight window. A delay of a few minutes per person would create a backlog stretching into the Roman streets. The officers' expertise lies in their speed and their discretion. They know the regulars by sight. They can spot an unfamiliar credential at a glance. They balance rigorous control with the necessary efficiency, ensuring the workforce of the city-state can enter and begin its duties, while the perimeter remains absolutely secure. It is the first, and one of the most critical, public order exercises of the day. As the clock moves past 9, the character of the gendarmerie's duty shifts visibly. The workforce is inside, at their posts. Now, the world arrives. The public gates open. The focus swings to the external spaces, the vast expanse of St. Saim. Peter's Square, the approach roads to the Vatican museums. The entry points to the basilica itself. Tour buses begin to disgorge their passengers. Pilgrim groups gather under their guides' raised flags. The quiet of dawn is replaced by a rising tide of languages, of camera clicks, of shuffling feet. Officers stationed in these zones now wear high visibility vests over their uniforms. Their role transforms from gatekeepers to shepherds. They are managing crowds that can swell to tens of thousands, yet their mandate is specific: remain approachable, non-confrontational, but firmly in control of the space. They answer endless questions. Where are the toilets? Where is the entrance to the cupola? What time is the Pope speaking? They gently redirect a group blocking a main thoroughfare. They keep the flow moving towards the security screening tents. Their authority is communicated not through force, but through presence, through a calm demeanor that subtly shapes the movement of the crowd. It is a performance of spatial control that must never feel like a performance, a balance of accessibility and authority perfected over countless mornings. For every public interaction, there are a dozen that remain unseen. The Gendarmerie's logbook fills with the minor, human incidents that are the texture of policing any crowded place. A lost child, terrified, clutching a toy, is reunited with a weeping parent. An elderly pilgrim feels faint in the heat and is escorted to the medical post. A visitor's bag, left on a bench, is retrieved and secured. At the museum's screening points, prohibited items, a pocket knife, a large tripod, are identified and held for safekeeping. Each incident generates its own small trail of paperwork, a report, a receipt, an entry in the log. These are the resolutions that never make the news. A shift commander, reviewing the day's log in the late afternoon, will measure success by the abundance of these small, closed cases. A good day, as one veteran commander described it, is not a day where nothing happens. It is a day where everything that happens is managed, resolved, and recorded with quiet efficiency. It is a day where the machinery of the state and the humanity of its visitors interact without friction. The real skill lies in preventing the small incident from becoming a large one, in applying a solution before a problem truly forms. This modern, professional force is the guardian of a very long history. The Gendarmerie Corps itself predates the Vatican City state as established by the Lateran Treaty of 1929. Its origins lie in the early 19th century, with the Papal Carabinieri formed to police the Papal States. The uniforms have evolved, the technology has transformed, but the fundamental duty to protect this place and its functions has remained constant. Officers today speak of a palpable sense of continuity. They walk beats along walls that their predecessors patrolled under the threat of political upheaval, during sieges, and through periods of profound change. That institutional memory is a living thing, passed down not just in archives, but in stories and unspoken traditions. An officer checking a door lock today is performing the same essential act as a guardsman a century ago, though the key may now be electronic. They are aware of being a link in a chain, of upholding a trust that transcends any single pontificate or political era. Theirs is a secular duty in a profoundly spiritual context, a paradox that defines their unique role. They protect the physical integrity of a state whose ultimate purpose is not physical at all. This deep historical awareness fosters a particular kind of patience, a long-view perspective. The frantic tourist, the confused pilgrim, the logistical headache of a major event, these are not novel challenges. They are the contemporary expressions of a timeless reality, that this small enclave is a magnet for the world. The Gendarmerie's role is to manage that reality, hour by hour, with professional detachment and human understanding. They ensure the machinery of the state grinds smoothly, so that its spiritual and cultural heart can beat without interruption. As the morning crowds solidify into the steady stream of midday, the Gendarmerie's initial, intense focus on ingress and crowd control begins to modulate. Officers rotate from their fixed posts. Some return to the barracks for reports. Others begin foot patrols through the less visited courtyards and garden paths, maintaining the omnipresent watch. The radio traffic shifts from coordinating gate staff to relaying observations about queue lengths or a temporarily obstructed pathway. The rhythm settles into a sustained, vigilant hum. The successful navigation of the dawn and early morning rush is the foundation upon which the rest of the city-state's day is built. Yet, even as they manage the public square, their attention is perpetually divided. A portion of their consciousness is always directed inwards, towards the heart of the complex. For while they secure the outer realms, the innermost sanctums, the private apartments and official chambers, fall under a different kind of protection. The Gendarmerie's coordination with this other force is seamless, a silent handoff at invisible boundaries. And as the clock moves toward the late morning, that other force, ancient in origin and vivid in presentation, is completing its own meticulous preparations to assume its very public role. The keys have been turned, the perimeter is secure, Now, the palace itself must open its doors. The morning sun has not yet cleared the eastern walls of the Apostolic Palace. In the quiet corridors of the Swiss Guard barracks, a different kind of dawn is already underway. It is a dawn measured not in light, but in ritual. The sound here is not of birdsong, but of boot heels on stone, of whispered instructions, of the soft rustle of heavy fabric. This is the moment before the performance, the private preparation for a very public duty. For over 5 centuries, this rhythm has held. It is the rhythm of a promise made and a promise kept in a city where time is measured in millennia and service is an art form. The institution they serve is a living anachronism, a thread of continuity woven through the heart of the modern world. The Pontifical Swiss Guard is among the oldest, continuously active military units on the planet. Its founding is conventionally dated to a cold January day in 56, when Pope Julius II, a warrior pontiff, welcomed the first contingent of Swiss soldiers sent from the canton of Uri. They arrived as mercenaries, renowned for their ferocious loyalty and formidable skill with the pike and halberd. Their mandate was simple: protect the person of the Pope. 518 years later, that mandate remains unchanged. Today, the Guard numbers around 135 members. Their weaponry has evolved from halberds to modern firearms. Their duties expanded from pure defense to a complex triad: ceremonial presence, access control at the Apostolic Palace, and close protection support for the Holy Father. They are at once a symbol of timeless tradition and a highly trained contemporary security detail. The transformation from citizen to guard begins each day with the uniform. This is not merely getting dressed, it is a process of embodiment. The Renaissance-era ceremonial uniform, with its bold stripes of blue, red, orange, and yellow, is a masterpiece of symbolic design. Its colors are said to be those of the Medici family, of Pope Julius II's coat of arms, a visual echo of the 16th century. The Mauryan helmet, worn for formal posts, completes the iconic silhouette. But the reality behind the image is one of exacting procedure. Each element has a specific order of assembly, a precise way of being fastened and adjusted. The tunic must sit just so, the white ruff must be crisp, the leather straps of the cuirass must be tensioned to allow for both an imposing bearing and the freedom to move. Dressing is a silent, focused ritual, often performed with the assistance of a comrade. Once attired, the guard presents himself for formal inspection. A non-commissioned officer conducts a minute examination, checking for any flaw in the presentation. This is not about vanity. It is about discipline and the projection of an unshakable standard. The expectation that follows this inspection is one of profound physical composure. To stand perfectly still for hours, under the gaze of thousands of cameras, in all weather, requires a mental fortitude that guards often describe in almost meditative terms. It is a demanding stillness, a conscious withdrawal into a state of alert tranquility. The mind remains acutely aware of the surroundings, while the body becomes a statue. This duality, intense internal awareness within absolute external calm, is the first and most fundamental skill of the ceremonial post. These posts are the world stage for the Swiss Guard, the bronze door, the formal entrance to the Apostolic Palace, the Arch of the Bells leading into St. Peter's Square, the various thresholds within the palace itself. To the millions of visitors who pass by each year, they are a living museum piece, a photo opportunity. But this assumption is a carefully maintained illusion. These are not merely ceremonial positions. They are active, vital access control points. The guard standing motionless at the bronze door is doing far more than holding a halberd. His eyes are constantly scanning, assessing. He is trained to recognize a vast array of accreditation passes, to distinguish between a lost tourist and a potential security concern, to manage queues of dignitaries and officials with silent efficiency. He must be prepared to respond to any unexpected situation, a medical emergency, a disturbance, an unauthorized approach, while never breaking the formal bearing of his post. The halberd is a historical symbol, but the man holding it is a modern professional. This is the central tension the Guard navigates every single day, the relationship between ceremony and modern security. The uniform is the visible layer, a dazzling historical shell. It invites a certain perception, a romanticization, but the training and readiness beneath it are invisible. Every Guard is a Swiss citizen who has completed basic military training in Switzerland. He then undergoes intensive instruction in Vatican security protocols, Italian law, self-defense, firearms proficiency, and close protection tactics. He learns the labyrinthine layout of the Apostolic Palace, not as a tourist, but as a defender. The ceremony is the facade. The operational reality is a complex, layered security apparatus. The Guards themselves are acutely aware of this dichotomy. They speak of the two faces, of the duty, the immutable, colourful symbol presented to the world, and the fluid, adaptive professional beneath the stripes. The working day is a carefully choreographed rotation. A Guard's shift is rarely spent in a single, static pose. The non-commissioned officer managing the duty roster holds a complex, dynamic puzzle. He must balance the need to staff all ceremonial posts with the requirements for training sessions, intelligence briefings, and rest periods. He must account for the unpredictable rhythm of papal movements, a sudden decision to walk in the gardens, an impromptu meeting, the precise timings of a public audience. A single Guard might begin his day with a pre-dawn physical training session, stand post at the Arch of the Bells through the morning visitor rush, attend a security briefing on the afternoon's events, and then provide discreet, close support during a papal event in the square before ending his shift. It is a rhythm that demands both physical endurance and mental flexibility, a constant shifting between the timeless stillness of the post and the dynamic movement of the security operative. For many of the Guards, this is not just a workplace. The Guards' barracks, mess hall, chapel, and recreational facilities are all contained within the Vatican perimeter. For those on residential duty, Vatican City is genuinely home. This creates a particular, profound intimacy with the place. They experience its rhythms from the inside. They know the sound of the basilica's bells echoing across empty courtyards at midnight. They recognize the change in the light as the sun sets behind the dome, washing the stone facades in a deep, honeyed gold. They walk the same paths in the quiet of the night that are thronged with pilgrims by day. This daily immersion fosters a relationship with the city-state that is deeper than that of an employee. It is a custodianship, a lived-in familiarity. They become attuned to its normal sounds, which makes any abnormal sound instantly notable. This intimacy extends to the very history they embody. Guards live and work surrounded by the art of Michelangelo, the architecture of Bernini, the walls that witnessed the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation. History here is not abstract, it is in the plaster and stone. They are reminded of their own legacy in the Barracks Museum, which holds artifacts from their past, including the pikes and armor from the Guards' darkest hour, the sack of Rome in 1527. On that day, 147 Swiss Guards died fighting a rearguard action in the courtyard of St. Yard. Peter's to allow Pope Clement VII to escape to safety. Their sacrifice is commemorated every year on May 6th, the anniversary of the sack, when new recruits are sworn in. The oath they take is not to a state, but to the person of the Pope. I swear I will faithfully, loyally, and honorably serve the Supreme Pontiff and his legitimate successors. It is a personal vow echoing across the centuries. The modern Guard is a mirror of Switzerland itself, multilingual, disciplined, neutral in posture, but unwavering in commitment. Recruits come from the German, French and Italian-speaking cantons, and the common language within the barracks becomes a blend of Swiss German and Italian, a unique dialect of duty. They are typically young men, Catholic, single, and completing their mandatory Swiss military service. They serve for a minimum of 2 years, though many extend. This temporary nature of service means the Guard is in a constant, gentle state of renewal, always blending fresh recruits with experienced corporals and sergeants. The shared experience forges bonds that last a lifetime, a fraternity of those who have stood the watch. The tools of their trade are a study in contrasts. In the armory, meticulously maintained Heckler & Koch submachine guns and Sig Sauer pistols are stored alongside the polished halberds and ceremonial swords. The same hands that can field strip a modern firearm are also trained in the precise manual of arms for the partisan, a ceremonial polearm. This fusion is seamless. Training exercises might involve rapid response drills in the underground garages 1 hour, and a rehearsal for a solemn pontifical ceremony in the Sala Regia the next. The Guard must be as comfortable in the world of high-tech security coordination with the Gendarmerie Corps as they are in the world of Renaissance protocol. Their command center, a modest room filled with radio equipment and surveillance monitors, is the nerve center that connects the static figure at the bronze door to the entire Vatican security apparatus. What is it like to be that figure? To be the still point in the turning world of St. Peter's Square? Guards describe a strange hyper-awareness. The weight of the helmet focuses the mind. Vision is narrowed to the slit of the morion, which paradoxically heightens peripheral perception. You hear everything: the shuffling of feet, the click of cameras, the whispered questions in a dozen languages. You feel the sun heating the metal of your cuirass, or the cold Roman rain soaking through the wool of your tunic. You learn to recognize the regulars, the local priests, the officials from the Governorate, the postmen. You see the wonder in children's eyes, and you must remain impassive. It is a performance of immense psychological endurance, where the greatest challenge is often not threat, but monotony, and the discipline required to defeat it. Life within the barracks community is intensely communal, a world within a world. Shared meals in the mess, football matches in the courtyard, language lessons, and the inevitable camaraderie of young men living far from home. There are moments of levity that contrast with the solemnity of the duty. The sight of a guard in sweatpants carrying his polished helmet to the dressing room. The friendly debates over Swiss chocolate brands in the common room. This normalcy is essential. It grounds the extraordinary nature of their service in the simple rhythms of daily life. Their chapel, dedicated to Saints Martin, Sebastian, and Nicholas, offers a space for quiet reflection, a reminder of the spiritual dimension of their oath. Here, the soldier and the servant meet. The Guard's relationship with the other Vatican security force, the Gendarmerie Corps, is one of close and complementary cooperation. The Gendarmerie handles broader public order, criminal investigation, and traffic control. The Guard's focus is the Apostolic Palace and the person of the Pope. Their spheres overlap at the access points, where a Swiss Guard might control entry while a gendarme manages the external queue. Communication is constant and seamless. Briefings are shared, intelligence is pooled. This collaboration ensures that the visible pageantry of the Guard is backed by the comprehensive, modern security apparatus managed by the Gendarmerie. One cannot function effectively without the other. As the day's final tourist groups disperse from St. Peter's Square, the ceremonial duties transition into the quieter, but no less vigilant, night watch. The posts are still manned, but the uniform often shifts to the darker, more practical blue service dress. The Vatican at night is a different city. The echoes of the day's crowds are replaced by a profound silence, broken only by the footfalls of the Guard on his rounds. He walks the same corridors now empty of cardinals and diplomats. He sees the museum's galleries devoid of visitors, the masterpieces resting in darkness. This nightly intimacy with the sleeping city deepens the sense of custodianship. He's not just guarding a person or a building, he is guarding the stillness itself, the continuity of a tradition that stretches back into the deep night of history. The Swiss Guards' Day is a cycle of preparation, performance, and vigilance, where the past is worn on the sleeve and the present is held in a steady gaze. It is a profession built on paradox, immense visibility masking deep discretion, ancient costume housing modern skill, rigid ceremony enabling fluid security. They are the human hinge between the Vatican's private world and its public face. Their service ensures that the machinery of the world's smallest state, a state of mind as much as territory, can function. And as the guards secure the palace gates and the last administrative lights flicker off in the offices of the Governorate, the two worlds connect. The ceremonial watchfulness outside makes possible the meticulous, unseen work of civil administration within. For after the uniforms are hung and the posts are stood, the business of running a sovereign state continues, not with halberds but with paper, stamps, and the quiet hum of bureaucracy. In a place defined by ceremony and centuries of tradition, there is another kind of ritual. It is quieter, less visible, and unfolds not in marble halls but in functional offices. It is the ritual of the stamp, the signature, the file, the permit. It is the steady, methodical work of making a state function, one piece of paper at a time. This is the domain not of spiritual authority, but of civil administration. It is the world of the Governorate, where the idea of a sovereign city-state meets the practical reality of running one. Here, the machinery of government is not a metaphor. It is a series of desks, a network of workflows, and a small army of people who believe that precision is itself a form of service. The Governorate of Vatican City State is the civil government of the territory, a structure entirely distinct from the Holy See's ecclesiastical administration. While the Holy See conducts the global spiritual and diplomatic mission of the Church, the Governorate handles everything required to keep the physical city alive. It is a small, complete national civil service, managing infrastructure, health, security, communications, and cultural heritage. It oversees the personnel who maintain the gardens, the technicians who preserve the art, the officers who guard the gates. This administrative body operates within a landscape of medieval walls and Renaissance palaces, its modern filing cabinets sitting in rooms built for a different kind of power. The Governorate is the answer to a unique question. What does it take to administer a sovereign country that is only 44 hectares in size? The answer is a network of directorates, a body of civil law, and a quiet, persistent dedication to order. The rhythm of this work is set by the clock. The administrative corps operates on formal office hours, with a peak intake window that begins at 9 in the morning and runs until 12:30. This is when the city's needs arrive at the counters and in the inboxes. During these hours, staff process a steady stream of requests for permits, personnel documents, and legal filings. Every instrument a functioning state requires must be generated here. Vatican City issues its own identity documents, its own driving licenses, its own vehicle registrations. Each of these items is more than a card or a piece of paper. It is the endpoint of a verification and approval workflow. A license is not just printed, it is researched, validated, authorized, and recorded. This daily intake is the raw material of sovereignty, transformed through procedure into proof of it. The staff who perform this work often describe their role in simple, enabling terms. They are the layer that makes everything else possible. The conservation laboratory in the museums cannot acquire a new spectral imaging device without a completed procurement process moving through the Economic Services Directorate. The Vatican Pharmacy cannot expand its stock of a vital medication without a supply authorization passing across the right desks. The garden's crew cannot bring on a seasonal arborist without a personnel file being opened, vetted, and approved. The administrative layer is the connective tissue of the state. It is the system that translates need into action, idea into reality. Without this unseen framework of permissions and records, the visible functions of the city, the guarded doors, the restored frescoes, the blooming gardens, would slowly grind to a halt. The paperwork is the architecture upon which the daily life of the city is built. This work exists within a legal framework as unique as the city itself. Vatican City maintains its own body of law, a layered system with no exact parallel anywhere else in the world. It draws foundational principles from canon law, the internal legal system of the Catholic Church. It uses Italian civil and penal codes as a primary reference point, given its geographical and historical context. And it creates its own legislative instruments through the Pontifical Commission for Vatican City State. The administrative staff who handle legal and compliance matters must navigate this tripartite system with fluency. A question about contract law, a traffic violation within the walls, a personnel dispute, each is resolved within this hybrid legal universe. The officials working in these offices become specialists in a field that exists nowhere else, interpreting how centuries of ecclesiastical tradition intersect with the practical demands of a modern microstate. The work of governance also means the work of memory. The archives function of the Governorate operates on two parallel tracks. It is a practical, active record-keeping operation, managing the files generated by the state's directorates this week, this month, this year. But it is also a historical repository, safeguarding the institutional memory of the territory itself. Documents detailing the administration of the state across the entire 20th century reside here. They share space with records from the period before the Lateran Treaty of 1929, the pivotal agreement that established Vatican City as a sovereign state under international law. A single shelf can hold a procurement invoice from 1995 and a land survey from 1910. This continuity is palpable. The archivist pulling a file for a current property dispute may first handle the brittle, handwritten ledger that first documented the site. In this way, the past is never truly past. It is an active participant in the present-day administration. For the individuals who choose this career, the work carries a particular quality of pride. It is often quiet, difficult to articulate in grand terms, but easy to observe in their actions. It is visible in the care with which an official stamp is aligned and pressed onto a document, ensuring a clean, legible impression of the papal keys. It is present in the precise tabulation of a spreadsheet tracking vehicle registrations, where a single error could mean a security lapse. It is demonstrated in the unhurried attention a clerk gives to a visitor's request for a duplicate identity card, a task that might seem minor, but represents a significant disruption to the person standing at the counter. This pride is rooted in a sense of custodianship. They are not just processing applications, they are upholding the integrity of the state's own promises, its certifications, its word. The environment itself reinforces this sense of sober responsibility. Many governorate offices are located in buildings that date from the Renaissance or later, with high ceilings, tall windows, and floors of worn stone or herringbone brick. The furniture, however, is often strictly functional. Metal filing cabinets, modular desks, ergonomic chairs. This juxtaposition is a constant, subtle reminder of the mission. One works within history, but for the present. The view from a third-floor window might take in a quiet courtyard, or the roof of a museum gallery, or the distant dome of St. Saint-Omer. Peter's. The work is grounded, practical, and earthbound, yet it is performed in the shadow of monuments built for eternity. This tension is not a distraction. For many, it is the source of the role's deeper meaning. The mundane task of approving a maintenance invoice for the Sistine Chapel's climate system is, in its own way, an act of preservation that spans centuries. The scope of this civil service is remarkably broad for such a tiny territory. One department might be calculating the pension contributions for a Swiss Guard recruit, while another is negotiating a contract for the restoration of the Bernini colonnade in Saint-Sainty, Peter's Square. A third might be issuing a permit for an international film crew to shoot in a restricted area, ensuring the protocols for protecting both art and privacy are followed to the letter. Each of these tasks requires a specific expertise, yet they are all bound by the same overarching mandate to facilitate the mission of the city-state. The Governorate exists to serve, and its service is to ensure that every other function, from the sacred to the sanitary, can proceed without administrative obstruction. It is the ultimate support system. This work also involves constant, delicate coordination with the Italian authorities that surround the city. While Vatican City is sovereign, it is not an island. Its water supply, electrical grid, and telecommunications infrastructure are interconnected with Rome's. Its security perimeter is constantly monitored in cooperation with Italian law enforcement. The Governorate's External Relations Office handles a continuous flow of diplomatic notes, practical agreements, and daily communications with the Italian Republic. This relationship is governed by the Lateran Treaty, but it is lived in 1,000 small, practical details. A request to close a street for a papal event, the protocol for importing specialized medical supplies for the pharmacy, the extradition process for a legal matter, all flow through these channels. The administrators who manage this interface must be part civil servant, part diplomat, always mindful of maintaining the balance between sovereign independence and necessary interdependence. Within the walls, the Governorate's most tangible output for residents and workers is the array of documents that certify their status. The Vatican Identity Card, the Carta d'Identità, is a powerful symbol of belonging. For the thousands of employees who live outside the walls, it is their key to entry each morning, their proof of accreditation. The process to obtain or renew it is meticulous. Applications are supported by letters from employing dicasteries, photographs are taken to strict specifications, and each card's issuance is logged in a central registry. The same rigor applies to the state's vehicle registrations, marked by distinctive SCV plates. Each car, van, or scooter used within the territory is catalogued, insured, and regulated according to Vatican law. These are not mere formalities. In a state where security is paramount, accurate documentation is the first line of defense. The human dimension of this administrative world is perhaps its most defining feature. In a corporation or a large national ministry, employees can feel distant from the end result of their work. In the Governorate, the connection is direct and personal. The clerk who processes a salary payment will likely see that employee in the cafeteria or passing in the courtyard. The official who authorizes a repair for a leak in the Apostolic Palace knows the conservators who were worried about humidity damage. This creates a culture of personal accountability. A mistake in a file is not an abstract error. It is a delay for a colleague, a friend, or a member of a religious community who depends on that document. This intimate scale transforms bureaucracy from a cold system into a network of mutual responsibility. The work is done for people one knows, in a place one cares for deeply. This sense of stewardship extends to the city's physical fabric. The Technical Services Directorate within the Governorate is responsible for maintaining everything from the medieval plumbing in some buildings to the state-of-the-art fire suppression system in the Sistine Chapel. Their work orders are administrative documents, but their impact is on the world's cultural heritage. An approval for a new climate control sensor in the Vatican Library is an investment in preserving parchment that is 500 years old. A signed contract for cleaning the marble facades of government buildings is a commitment to maintaining the dignity of the city's public face. The administrators who handle these contracts may never hold a chisel or adjust a thermostat, but their signatures enable the specialists who do. They are the guardians of the guardians. As the morning peak window draws to a close around 12:30, the pace within the Governorate's offices subtly shifts. The front counters grow quiet as employees break for lunch. The flurry of incoming requests slows, but the work does not stop. The afternoon is for deeper tasks, reconciling accounts, drafting reports, preparing materials for the next day's meetings, and following up on the complex cases that require research or external consultation. It is a time for concentration, for the detailed work that cannot be done amid the morning's interruptions. In these quieter hours, the true depth of the administration's role becomes apparent. It is not merely a processing center, it is a planning body, a regulatory authority, and the institutional memory of the state, thinking ahead to the needs of next week, next year, and the next decade. The legacy of this administrative tradition is woven into the very existence of the modern Vatican City state. The Governorate's predecessors were the various offices that managed the temporal holdings of the papacy for centuries. The shift from managing a vast papal state to administering a tiny sovereign enclave required a radical reinvention of civil service. That transition, guided by the Lateran Treaty, demanded the creation of entirely new systems from the ground up: a customs agency, a postal service, a vehicle registry, a personnel department. The men and women who built those systems in the 1930s and 1940s worked with a sense of founding a new nation, albeit a microscopic one. Today's employees are the inheritors of that project. They work with the knowledge that the documents they file and the procedures they follow are part of a continuous experiment in sovereignty that is now nearly a century old. This quiet world of administration finds its ultimate justification in the smooth functioning of the city it serves. When a researcher receives a manuscript in the library reading room, a chain of administrative actions made it possible. The procurement of the phone book cradle, the personnel file of the conservator who stabilized the binding, the budget allocation for the climate-controlled storage. When a patient receives medication from the Vatican pharmacy, behind that transaction lies a web of supply authorizations, import licenses, and health regulations processed by the Governorate. The administrative layer is the silent partner in every public act, the enabling force that operates on the principle that nothing should happen by accident, and everything should be traceable, accountable, and correct. It is governance as a craft, practiced with a quiet, unwavering dedication to order. And so, as the afternoon light slants through those tall office windows, the work of enabling continues. It is a world of files and stamps, of codes and compliance, of permits and protocols. It is a world far removed from the splendor of the ceremonies or the awe of the art collections. Yet, it is indispensable. The state, in its daily reality, is made here. The next time you see a Swiss guard standing motionless at his post, consider the administrative scaffolding that supports him: his contract, his insurance, his identity document, the permit that allowed the cleaning of his uniform's fabric. Every visible function of this city rests upon an invisible foundation of paperwork, processed with care. This meticulous, human-scale administration ensures the city-state is not just a symbol, but a living, functioning reality. And as this administrative day progresses, its work directly enables another critical, high-touch service just a short walk away, where precision takes on a more urgent human dimension. The focus now shifts from the quiet offices of civil administration to a space where paperwork meets immediate human need. The permits and authorizations processed by the Governorate enable a unique institution that operates at a relentless pace, serving a community with specific, often urgent requirements. This is a place of science and solace, of logistics and compassion, where the administrative foundation supports a mission of direct care. It is a pharmacy, but unlike any other, a high-throughput hub in a very small space, where every transaction is a blend of bureaucratic rigor and personal attention. In a city of marble and fresco, of ceremony and ancient ritual, there is a quieter kind of service. It happens not in a grand hall or a sacred chapel, but behind a simple counter. The air here carries a faint, clean scent of antiseptic and paper, a world away from incense. The sounds of the soft rustle of a prescription bag, the click of a keyboard, the low murmur of a confidential conversation. This is a place of practical, tangible care. It is a space where faith meets pharmacology, where the spiritual well-being of a global institution is supported by the meticulous science of the body. This is the Vatican Pharmacy, a medical lifeline operating within the world's smallest state. Operated under the Directorate of Health and Hygiene, this is one of the most visited pharmacies in Europe relative to its physical size. Its catchment area is unique. It serves the residents and employees of Vatican City, the accredited staff of the Holy See, and a vast network of clergy and religious communities based across Rome. For them, it is far more than a convenience. The pharmacy has built a reputation over decades for stocking medications that are either difficult to find or prohibitively expensive through standard Italian commercial channels. This could be a specialized cancer drug, a particular formulation of insulin, or a newer generation antibiotic. For a religious order running a hospice or a retired priest on a modest pension, this access is not a luxury, it is often a necessity. The pharmacy's mission, therefore, is woven into the fabric of the Church's broader mission of care. It exists to ensure that those who serve are, themselves, served in a very fundamental way. The rhythm of the day is dictated by two distinct tides of people. The morning peak runs from roughly 8:30 until 11:30. The afternoon wave follows from 3 o'clock to 5:30. During these windows, a steady, patient flow of customers moves through the space. The counter staff, usually 2 or 3 pharmacists at a time, must operate with a dual mindset: the efficiency of a high-throughput dispensary and the attentive care of a neighborhood practice. Every interaction begins with a prescription. The verification process is rigorous and uncompromising. The pharmacist checks the prescribing physician's credentials, the date, the legibility of the drug name and dosage. But the scrutiny goes deeper. They assess the appropriateness of the dosage for the patient's likely age and condition. They cross-reference it against the patient's file, if one exists, to check for potential interactions with other medications. When everything is in perfect order, this process is a matter of seconds, a fluent, practiced ballet of glances and keystrokes. When it is not, time stretches. A dosage seems unusually high. A generic substitution is possible, but the original brand is specified. The prescribing doctor's stamp is smudged and requires a phone call for confirmation. In these moments, the queue must wait. Accuracy is the non-negotiable priority. A mistake here carries consequences far beyond a commercial transaction. It is a breach of a profound trust. The pharmacists speak of this wait calmly. It is simply part of the job. The prescription, once validated, is stamped with the pharmacy's official seal, a physical, inked testament to the fact that it has passed through this gate of professional scrutiny. Only then does the process move to the next critical phase, retrieval. Behind the public counter lies another world, a logistics hub in miniature. The stockroom is a dense forest of floor-to-ceiling shelving units, each aisle a meticulously organized taxonomy of human need. Medications are arranged by category, then by name, then by dosage and form. The inventory is vast and varied, a necessity given the diverse and international population it serves. A pharmacy technician, holding a printed slip or a digital scanner, moves through the rows with a quiet purpose. Theirs is a spatial memory game. They must know that the specific diuretic is on the 3rd shelf of aisle 7, that the pediatric antibiotic suspension is in the refrigerated unit at the back, that the stock of a particular heart medication is running low and needs reordering. Speed is essential to keep the workflow moving, but so is absolute precision. Picking the wrong box, even one with a similar name, is an unthinkable error. The retrieved item is brought to the dispensing station. Here, it undergoes a second verification against the prescription. A label is printed with the patient's name, the drug details, and clear instructions. The medication is packaged. But the transaction is not yet complete. The final, and perhaps most human, step is counseling. The pharmacist returns to the counter, places the bag before the customer, and leans in slightly. This is not a robotic recitation of side effects. It is a conversation. You'll take this once a day, with breakfast. This might make you feel drowsy at first. Be sure to finish the entire course. For many of the customers, particularly the elderly clergy and religious sisters who are managing chronic conditions like hypertension or diabetes, this brief exchange is profoundly significant. It is a moment of individual attention. The pharmacist is not just dispensing pills, they are listening. They might notice a slight confusion in the patient's eyes and rephrase the instructions more simply. They might ask, gently, if the previous month's medication was tolerated well. This human dimension is the soul of the pharmacy's work. The staff know their regulars. They recognize the nun who collects medication for her entire convent, the archivist from the library who needs migraine relief, the Swiss Guard recruit picking up a prescription for a sports injury. They understand that for some, especially those who live in communal solitude, this visit might be their most direct, medically attentive interaction of the week. The counter becomes a confessional of sorts, not for sins, but for symptoms and concerns. A question about a minor ache can lead to a recommendation to visit the clinic. A comment about fatigue might prompt a suggestion for a blood test. This proactive, pastoral aspect of pharmacy is something the staff cultivate consciously. They're often the first line of medical defense, their trained eyes spotting what a patient might not yet articulate. Beyond this daily rhythm of care, the pharmacy also plays a crucial supporting role in the Vatican's public life. When a papal audience is scheduled in St. Peter's Square, drawing tens of thousands of people, the pharmacy's function expands. It coordinates closely with the Vatican's medical clinic. Together, they ensure that emergency medical kits are stocked and positioned, that specific medications for heat stroke or cardiac events are readily available to the clinic's doctors and nurses on standby. The pharmacy also manages a small but critical emergency supply function for the Gendarmerie and the fire brigade. An officer might need a fresh bone dressing from a minor incident. The fire team might require specialized antiseptic for their first aid kits. In these moments, the pharmacy transitions from a public dispensary to a logistical partner for the state's security and safety services, its role adapting seamlessly to the needs of the day. The reputation of this unassuming pharmacy extends far beyond the Leonine Walls. Within the global network of the Catholic Church, it is a known entity, a point of practical reference. For a missionary order sourcing affordable malaria prophylaxis, for a diocese seeking a reliable supply of a vaccine for its staff, for a retired bishop living in Rome on a limited income, the Vatican Pharmacy is a quiet institution of immense practical value. Its accessibility, its competitive pricing shielded from Italian commercial markups, and its specialized stock have made it an unsung hero of daily life. It operates largely outside the awareness of the millions of tourists who pass by just a few hundred meters away. They come for the art and the architecture, the history and the spirituality. They seldom imagine that within this city-state, there is also a fully functioning, bustling pharmacy, ensuring that the very people who maintain that spiritual legacy remain healthy enough to do their work. This is the paradox of the place. It exists because of the Vatican's unique sovereignty, which allows it to operate its own health services and import medications under different regulations. Yet its daily reality is utterly mundane, concerned with the universal human experiences of health, aging, and cost. It is a bridge between the celestial aspirations of the Church and the earthly needs of its people. The pharmacists who work here describe their service in simple terms. They are here to help. They are here to be accurate. They are here to listen. In a city that communicates in encyclicals and homilies, this pharmacy speaks a different, equally vital language. The clear instructions on a label, the reassuring tone at the counter, the dependable availability of a needed treatment. It is a testament to the idea that to care for the soul, one must first care for the body that houses it. As the afternoon light begins to fade, the last prescriptions of the day are filled, the queues dwindle. The pharmacists start their closing routines, restocking the front shelves, reconciling the day's inventory, preparing orders for the next morning. The space slowly empties, returning to a quiet hum. The care provided here today is now carried out into the city, in small paper bags held in the hands of nuns, priests, gardeners, and archivists. This cycle of receipt, verification, retrieval, and counsel is complete. But the work of this small state is never just in one place. As the pharmacy closes its doors, another essential service, one that also deals in small, stamped pieces of paper, is preparing for its own final dispatch. It is a service that connects this tiny sovereign territory to every corner of the globe, not with medicine, but with messages. The practical care of the pharmacy gives way to the diplomatic and personal connections of the post. In a city of stone and spirit, of whispered prayers and echoing footsteps, there is a quieter kind of circulation. It is a flow not of people, but of paper. It moves through the world's smallest sovereign state, carrying its identity far beyond its ancient walls. This is the pulse of a nation measured in envelopes and ink, in miniature works of art that travel on the wings of global routine. It is a system that connects the sacred to the mundane, the administrative to the deeply personal, one stamped rectangle at a time. Within these 44 hectares, a fully realized country must speak to the world, and it often does so through the mail. The Vatican Postal and Philately Service, known as Posta Vaticanae, is a complete national postal system operating within a space smaller than many university campuses. It is a functional reality of statehood, as concrete as a passport or a court. This service issues its own postage stamps, prints its own postal orders, and processes every piece of mail that originates from within the Leonine Walls. These stamps are not souvenirs, but legal tender for postage here, their value guaranteed by the Vatican City state. They are recognized by the Universal Postal Union, the global body that governs international mail, of which the Holy See is a founding member. This means a letter bearing a Vatican stamp can travel from this tiny enclave to any address on Earth, its journey as valid as one starting in Paris or Tokyo. It is a profound concept, a nation's sovereignty, expressed in gummed paper and cancellation ink. The morning intake window, from 8 until 10:30, is when the previous day's intentions are dispatched into the world. The sorting staff work with a practiced, fluid rhythm. The volume they handle is a unique cross-section of global communication. There is the formal administrative correspondence of the Holy See, destined for nunciatures and dioceses across continents. And then, in far greater quantity, there is the tourist mail. Thousands of postcards, letters, and small packages deposited by visitors in the bright yellow postboxes scattered across St. Peter's Square. Each piece is a tangible fragment of a pilgrimage or a holiday, a moment made permanent. For the sender, that small adhesive stamp will become the most physical souvenir of their visit, more enduring than a photograph. It is a piece of the Vatican they can send ahead of themselves, or gift to someone waiting at home. The sorting process is a study in global geography. The staff read destinations not as abstractions, but as specific journeys. A postcard to Manila requires a different routing than a letter to Montreal. A registered package for a monastery in Poland follows a different protocol than a batch of philatelic first-day covers for a collector in Japan. The staff's knowledge is both logistical and tactile. They know the weight limits for airmail letters, The customs declaration forms required for small parcels, the precise postage for a heavy envelope full of documents. Their workbench is a map of the world, realized in slots and trays. And with every piece they handle, they're connecting a personal story from inside the walls to a waiting story somewhere far beyond them. By mid-morning, the character of the post office shifts. The urgent rhythm of outgoing dispatch gives way to a slower, more deliberate pace. The philatelic counter opens, and a different kind of clientele arrives. These are the collectors. Their interactions are not transactions, but consultations. The staff behind this counter are not just clerks, they are curators and scholars of a miniature art form. They possess a deep, specialized knowledge of every issue, every printing variation, every nuance of Vatican philatelic history. They answer questions about watermarks and perforations, about plate flaws and color shifts. They handle requests with a white-gloved care usually reserved for ancient manuscripts. For the collector, this counter is not a shop, but a portal to a specialized world of beauty and precision. Vatican stamp issues are not produced on a whim. They are planned years in advance, their themes woven into the fabric of the Church's calendar and the Holy See's public engagements. They might commemorate a saint's centenary, a papal encyclical, a masterpiece from the Vatican museums, or an international cause like peace or environmental stewardship. Each issue is commissioned from an artist or engraver with a clear brief: create a work of lasting quality on a canvas less than 2 inches across. The result is a staggering concentration of artistry. A stamp might feature a miniature reproduction of a Caravaggio, the intricate architecture of the basilica, or a symbolic design of doves and olive branches. In this tiny space, the Vatican communicates its identity, its devotion to faith, art, and human dignity. The cancellation process is one of the small, potent rituals of this place. The physical stamping of a postmark onto a letter or, more significantly, onto a philatelic cover is an act that transforms paper into history. For collectors, a first-day cover, an envelope bearing a new stamp cancelled on its very first day of issue, is a prized artifact. The crisp, black circular postmark, with its date and Città del Vaticano inscription, is the final, authenticating touch. The postal staff who perform these cancellations are aware of the weight of their gesture. They know that the envelope they are handling will not be opened to read a message, but will be preserved, sleeved, catalogued, and studied. Their mundane tool, the cancellation stamp, is, in that moment, an instrument of certification for a future archive. This act of preservation connects the individual to the institutional. The philatelic service maintains its own official archive, a complete visual record of every stamp it has ever issued. This archive is more than an administrative log. It is a singular visual history of the Holy See's public face since the early 20th century. Flipping through its pages is like watching the evolution of a nation's self-portrait, the transition from monarchical portraits to artistic masterpieces, from Latin inscriptions to modern designs, from simple engravings to multicolored photogravure. Each stamp is a frozen moment of intention, a statement of what the Vatican wished to communicate to the world in a given year. The archive is where these miniature diplomats are kept, in perfect order, forever. Indeed, these stamps have long served as a form of quiet, persistent cultural diplomacy. They travel through the global postal system, bypassing political channels and entering private homes and offices directly. An issue commemorating the astronomer Giovanni Cassini carries the Vatican's historical commitment to science into a university department. A stamp honoring the work of international relief agencies carries a message of solidarity into a community center. A series celebrating Renaissance art places a fragment of the Vatican museums on an envelope in a living room halfway around the world. This diplomacy is not loud or declarative. It is subtle, respectful, and built on shared human interests in beauty, knowledge, and compassion. It is the state speaking in a whisper, but a whisper that circles the globe. The afternoon brings a reversal of the morning's flow. The focus turns inward. A delivery van from the Italian Postal Service arrives at the Vatican's designated receiving point, transferring sacks of inbound mail. This is the world writing back. The sorting room, quiet now after the morning frenzy, becomes active again with a different task. The incoming mail is sorted not by global destination, but by internal address. Letters are separated into trays labelled for the Governorate, the Secretariat of State, the Apostolic Palace, the museums, the library, and the various residential buildings within the walls. This process requires a detailed knowledge of the Vatican's own intricate geography, not of nations, but of departments and doorways. Each piece of this incoming mail is a connection, a need, a request, or a reply. It could be a scholarly inquiry for the library, a supply invoice for the museum's conservation lab, a personal letter for a member of the Swiss Guard from his family in Switzerland, or diplomatic correspondence for a cardinal. The sorting staff handle it all with the same efficient care. They are the first point of contact for the world's communication with the city-state, and their accuracy ensures that each message reaches its intended recipient within this small, complex community. Their work is the essential link between the Vatican's external postal identity and its internal daily life. The final act of the postal day is the distribution run. A staff member, often with a wheeled cart, makes the rounds through the Vatican's courtyards, corridors, and offices. This delivery is a thread that binds the city-state together. It reaches the gardener's office in the far corner of the gardens, the astronomer's desk at the observatory headquarters, the pharmacist's counter, the gendarme's station. In a place where digital communication is ubiquitous, the physical letter or package retains a particular significance. It carries a formality, a permanence, a tactile presence that an email cannot replicate. The delivery of the mail is a daily reaffirmation of the community's connectedness, both to each other and to the wider world. The significance of this postal system extends beyond its practical function. It is a testament to the Vatican's tangible statehood, a sovereignty exercised in the daily democratic act of mailing a letter. For the visitor, that stamp is a tiny transportable piece of sovereignty they can affix themselves. For the collector, it is a fragment of art and history. For the institution, it is a channel of identity and diplomacy. The post office, therefore, is more than a service counter, it is a heart. It pumps the lifeblood of communication, official and personal, global and intimate, through the veins of the world's smallest state and out into the circulatory system of the planet. As the last outgoing sack is sealed for its pickup and the final delivery cart returns empty, the postal day concludes. But the journey of those stamped pieces is just beginning. They are now in the stream, carrying their miniature ambassadorships across borders and oceans. Meanwhile, within the walls, the focus of the city-state begins its own subtle shift. The efficient, paper-based diplomacy of the post office gives way to a different kind of public engagement, one conducted not through the mail, but in person, on a monumental scale. For the thousands whose letters have just been dispatched, their physical visit may be over. But for thousands more, the day is just beginning. They are already forming lines, presenting tickets, and preparing to step across a different threshold into the silent, overwhelming, and meticulously managed world of the Vatican museums. Imagine a river of people, not a metaphor but a physical reality. Every morning, a human current begins to gather outside a set of ancient walls, a slow building tide of anticipation and weariness, guidebooks and sun hats. Their destination is not a single building but a labyrinth, a city within a city built not for living but for looking. This is the engine room of cultural pilgrimage, a machine that must, each day, transform chaos into order and overwhelm into awe. Its fuel is human curiosity. Its product is an encounter with beauty. And its operators are the men and women who stand between the masterpiece and the crowd, tasked with an impossible balance, to preserve the silence of centuries while managing the noise of the present. The Vatican museums are a statistical marvel. Approximately 6 million visitors cross their thresholds each year, a number that places them among the most visited cultural institutions on the planet. But statistics are abstract. The reality is felt in the shoulders of the crowd, in the hum of 10,000 conversations, in the sheer mass of humanity that must be moved, managed, and cared for. On a standard weekday during the high season, more than 20,000 individual journeys will converge here. From the first queue that forms against the stone at 7:30, to the final echo in the empty galleries after 6 in the evening, this is a logistical operation of breathtaking scale. It runs not on automation, but on the practiced precision of frontline staff who have learned to read the crowd like a language, anticipating its rhythms, its blockages, its needs. They are the conductors of a daily symphony where the instruments are people, and the score is written in real time. The performance begins long before the first note is played. The opening sequence of a museum day is a silent choreography, a meticulous preparation conducted in the cool, hollow quiet of the galleries. Ticketing staff power on their terminals, running diagnostic checks on systems that will process thousands of transactions. Cloakroom attendants count and arrange their numbered tags into neat, sequential rows, a small forest of plastic digits waiting for the baggage of a continent. At the security screening hall, officers test the metal detector lanes, the low beep of calibration, a solitary sound in the vast space. They adjust the conveyor belts of the X-ray machines, ensuring, in the galleries themselves, monitors begin their morning walks. Their footsteps are the only ones echoing off marble floors polished to a mirror shine. They move through the Hall of Animals, the Gallery of the Candelabra, their eyes scanning. Is the climate control humming steadily? Is every artifact in its place, every light correctly angled? Is the rope barrier taut? The museums open to the public only when every element of this invisible preparation is verified and complete. The door remains locked until the stage is set. Then the gates part. The river finds its channel. The security screening operation at the museum's main entry is one of the highest throughput environments of its kind in Europe. Here, staff face a relentless, polite invasion. Tens of thousands of people pass through these lanes daily, each requiring a moment of individual attention. The mandate is a difficult duality. Be thorough, be respectful. The most common interaction is not the discovery of a threat, but a gentle correction. A water bottle must be emptied. A large backpack cannot enter. A selfie stick, that modern baton of vanity, is politely confiscated for later retrieval. The staff are trained in the art of the painless intervention. A smile, a clear explanation, a gesture toward the cloakroom. The goal is to filter the prohibited without creating embarrassment, to enforce the rules without fostering resentment. It is a ballet of brief encounters, each one shaping a visitor's first impression of this place. Efficiency is measured not just in bodies per hour, but in the preservation of dignity. Once inside, the river branches into countless streams, flowing through corridors of marble and halls of tapestry. This is where the gallery monitors and visitor services staff perform their most subtle art, crowd choreography. They are not static guards, but dynamic facilitators of flow. They stand at junctions, their arms loosely folded, their eyes constantly moving. They see the bottleneck forming at the entrance to the gallery of maps, where visitors inevitably stop, stunned by the 40 painted panels of Italy. A gentle redirect. The chapel is straight ahead, you can circle back. They hear the same question for the 100th time. Is this the way to the Sistine Chapel? Each time they answer with the same patience, as if it were the first. Their true skill, however, lies in reading the human signs that have nothing to do with art. A visitor who sits down suddenly on a bench, pale and overcome by heat or crowds. A child frozen, separated from the familiar legs of their family. A person standing too long before a painting, not in reverence, but in a daze of overwhelm. These moments require a shift from crowd management to human care, a quiet word, a bottle of water, a steadying hand on a shoulder. They develop an almost architectural awareness, understanding how emotion and fatigue move through space as surely as bodies do. The cloakroom, often overlooked, is a vital organ in this living system. It is a pact of trust. Visitors surrender their bulky modern burdens, suitcases from early checkouts, oversized bags, prohibited items, in exchange for a small numbered tag. This transaction is simple on its face, but on a peak day, the scale is immense. Thousands of items pass across the counter, a vast and varied archive of personal belongings from across the globe. The attendants work with a rhythm that is both swift and careful. Each tag is a promise, this will be waiting for you. The system is elegantly low-tech, relying on numbered duplicates and orderly storage. But the reconciliation at day's end is a ritual of absolute accountability. Every tag issued must be returned. Every item stored must be retrieved. The staff work down their lists, matching the remaining numbers to the forgotten umbrellas, the misplaced jackets, the single suitcase whose owner is delayed. It is a final, quiet exercise in order, ensuring that no fragment of a visitor's journey is left behind. As the afternoon light begins to soften, a subtle change moves through the galleries. The announcements begin. The museum will be closing soon. The river starts to reverse its flow, draining back toward the exits. The final visitors are ushered gently, persistently, toward the doors. And then, a profound silence descends, so complete it feels like a physical presence after the day's cacophony. This is the moment for the closing sweep. Gallery monitors begin their final walk, a systematic patrol through every room, every corridor. They move slowly now, their eyes scanning for what the crowd may have left behind. A dropped scarf caught under a bench, a guidebook forgotten on a windowsill. They check behind display cases, peer into shadowed corners. The myth of the visitor who hides at closing time is not entirely a myth. They must ensure every space is truly empty. One by one, the great galleries are surrendered back to their permanent inhabitants, the statues, the paintings, the silent witnesses of history. The last lights are extinguished by staff who have been on their feet since before dawn, whose voices are tired from 1,000 directions given, whose patience has been tested and held. They leave the darkness behind, a custodial darkness that is not an end, but a respite. This daily cycle of invasion and restoration, of noise and silence, is the relentless heartbeat of the museums. But what happens when the crowds are gone and the doors are locked? The care of this place enters a different phase. The focus shifts from the flow of people to the stillness of objects. In the deep quiet of the night, other experts begin their work, not with crowds, but with cotton swabs and microscopes. Not managing the living, but preserving the made. The frontline staff hand over the city of art to its surgeons and scientists, the conservators whose task is to repair the inevitable, microscopic wear inflicted by the very attention these masterpieces command. The visitor engine may fall silent, but the work of care never stops. It simply changes its form, moving from the grand choreography of the crowd to the intimate, painstaking touch of the conservator's hand, ensuring that when the river of people returns at dawn, the treasures they have come to see are not just present, but perpetually alive. In a city built upon layers of history, where every stone holds a story, there exists a quieter kind of care. It happens not in the grand galleries, but in rooms set apart. Here, the past is not simply displayed, it is listened to, examined, and tended with a touch that borders on reverence. This is the realm of repair that thinks in centuries, where the goal is not to make new, but to preserve the fragile truth of what remains. It is a dialogue between the present and a distant moment of creation, conducted with microscopes and cotton swabs, with science and an almost monastic patience. The Vatican Museum's conservation and restoration laboratories are among the most specialized working environments in the world. They are not single rooms, but a constellation of disciplines, each with its own language and tools. There are labs for paintings on wood and canvas, for fragile textiles and monumental tapestries, for ancient paper, for corroded metals, and for delicate ceramics. In another room, scientists peer into the very heart of materials. The staff who move through these spaces are hybrids of scholar and artisan. They must hold entire art historical periods in their minds, understanding the intentions of a Renaissance master or the techniques of a Byzantine mosaicist. Yet their work is profoundly manual, a craft of the steady hand and the educated eye. They are translators, bridging the gap between the intellectual understanding of an object and the physical reality of its decay. Their mandate is unique: to intervene in history without rewriting it, to halt time's damage without erasing its honest passage. A conservator's day begins not with action, but with profound attention. It begins with the object itself, in a state of silent assessment. Before any treatment is contemplated, the object must tell its story. Its current condition is documented in meticulous detail, high-resolution photographs under raking light to reveal surface texture, ultraviolet images to expose old varnishes and repairs. Written notes describe every crack, every flake of paint, every subtle warp in a wooden panel. The conservator then delves into the object's medical history, reviewing records of past interventions, some of which may be decades or even centuries old. These historical repairs are part of the object's biography, to be understood, not automatically condemned. Then comes the principle that governs every decision that follows: reversibility. Any material added, an adhesive, a consolidant, a filler, must be capable of being safely removed by a future conservator with superior knowledge or technology. This humility before the future is a core tenet. Proposed treatments are tested first on an inconspicuous area or on a sample of period material, a cautious rehearsal before the main performance. The micro-interventions that fill a conservator's hours are acts of miniature scale, invisible to a visitor standing at normal viewing distance. Imagine consolidating a flaking paint layer on a Raphael altarpiece. This involves applying a microscopic amount of adhesive under each fragile flake with the tip of a fine brush, then gently pressing it back into place. It is surgery on a cellular level. Or consider cleaning a cotton swab, slightly dampened with a solvent carefully matched to the specific grime and the original paint, is rolled over a square inch of surface. The grime lifts, the color breathes again, but the swab must never be too wet, the pressure never too hard. Reattaching a loose fragment of gilding to a Baroque frame can take an entire morning. These are tasks that take minutes to describe and hours to perform, demanding a sustained concentration that excludes the outside world. The hand must be steady, the breath controlled. It is a physical discipline as much as an intellectual one. Beneath these deliberate acts lies a continuous, silent guardian: environmental monitoring. Temperature, relative humidity, and light levels are tracked in real time across the labs. These parameters are not casual comforts, they are prescription settings for the health of irreplaceable objects. A sudden spike in humidity can cause wood to swell, paint to buckle. Prolonged exposure to even low-level light can fade delicate dyes and pigments. The air itself is part of the treatment. The objects that come to these labs are often the most sensitive in the entire collection, and the physical conditions of the workspace are treated as an extension of the conservator's care. Any deviation from the specified range triggers an immediate review. This constant vigilance is a background hum to the focused work, a reminder that preservation is not a single act, but a sustained atmosphere. It is about creating a kind of eternal spring, a stable climate where time's corrosive effects are persuaded to slow, then stop. The work of the hand is guided by the revelations of the eye, but not the naked eye. The scientific analysis function of the labs acts as a form of deep vision. Techniques like X-ray fluorescence can identify the exact elements in a pigment, telling a conservator if that blue is costly lapis lazuli or a more common substitute. Infrared reflectography can peer through upper paint layers to reveal the artist's underdrawing, the confident charcoal lines of the first idea. Multispectral imaging can resurrect faded inks on parchment. These tools uncover secrets. A conservator working on a Renaissance panel painting may discover, through infrared analysis, a pentimento, a change the artist made during the creative process. Perhaps a hand was originally positioned differently, or a background detail was painted over. This is more than a technical curiosity. It is a direct glimpse into the artist's mind, a moment of decision frozen beneath the surface. Such a discovery changes everything. It influences the conservation approach, dictating greater caution around these hidden layers. And it reshapes art historical understanding, adding a new chapter to the story of the work's creation. The most enduring product of the conservation lab may not be the treated object, but the record created alongside it. The documentation, condition reports, detailed treatment diaries, analytical data, and exhaustive photographic archives is itself a powerful form of preservation. It captures the object's state at a precise moment in time. Future conservators, perhaps 100 years from now, will rely on these records to understand what was done, when, and most importantly, why. They will see the photographs before, during, and after treatment. They will read the rationale for choosing one adhesive over another. This documentation is a letter to the future, a transmission of professional knowledge and ethical reasoning. The care taken in producing these records is immense, for the labs operate with the profound awareness that they are temporary stewards. They are not working for a deadline or an exhibition opening, but for the next several centuries. Every labeled sample, every dated photograph, every carefully worded note is a stitch in a continuum of care that they trust will extend long beyond their own lifetimes. This meticulous record-keeping creates a parallel library, an archive of physical histories. It tells the story of the object's journey through time, its injuries and its healings. For a tapestry, the report might document the specific type of silk thread used in a 19th century repair, now itself degrading. For a bronze sculpture, it charts the progression of a particular corrosion pattern. This is the biography of matter, written not in words, but in chemical changes and structural stresses. The conservator is both biographer and physician, diagnosing the present while annotating the past. This scholarly rigor ensures that each intervention is not an isolated event, but a cited chapter in an ongoing scholarly edition of the object's life. It transforms restoration from a craft into a cumulative science, where each generation builds upon the documented work of the last, avoiding past mistakes and respecting past successes. The ethos of the lab extends to the very tools on the bench. Many are custom-made for specific tasks. A tiny spatula forged from a particular alloy that will not scratch gold leaf. A suction cup fashioned from silicone to lift a fragile ceramic shard without pressure. A brush with only 3 sable hairs for applying consolidant to a single thread of a medieval embroidery. These tools are often crafted by the conservators themselves, a further blending of knowledge and hand skill. The environment is one of controlled calm, but it is not sterile. It is a workshop in the Renaissance tradition, where thought and handiwork are inseparable. The hum of a fume extractor, the soft click of a camera shutter, the faint smell of citrus-based solvents and rabbit skin glue. These are the sensory markers of a space dedicated not to swift production, but to deliberate, thoughtful delay of entropy. Consider the human dimension within this technical world. A conservator might spend 6 months on a single painting, their face inches from its surface for hours each day. They come to know its topography intimately, every brushstroke, every crackle pattern in the varnish, every imperfection in the wood grain. This prolonged intimacy fosters a peculiar relationship. The conservator is not the artist, but they become the object's most attentive confidant, privy to the evidence of its making and its aging that no one else will ever see so closely. This relationship is built on respect, but also on a necessary detachment. The goal is not to impose one's own aesthetic, but to clarify the artist's original intention, as much as the aged materials allow. It is a balance of empathy and objectivity, a professional love that serves the object's needs above all. The challenges are as varied as the collection itself. A textile conservator facing a tapestry riddled with moth damage must decide how much of the original, weakened fibre to support with new material, and how to make that support invisible from the front. A metals conservator treating a corroded ancient bronze must stabilize the destructive chemical process without stripping away the beautiful, stable patina that is also a product of age. Each object presents a unique puzzle, a set of conflicting priorities between structural stability, aesthetic integrity, and historical authenticity. There are rarely perfect answers, only carefully weighed compromises. The conservator's expertise lies in navigating these dilemmas, making decisions that are fully documented and ethically defensible, always leaving the door open for future revision. This work exists in a quiet counterpoint to the public life of the museums. While thousands flow through the galleries, often at a pace measured in seconds per masterpiece, in the lab's time expands. The conservator's pace is dictated by the material's response, by the drying time of an adhesive, by the patience required for a solvent to work. It is a rejection of haste. In a world obsessed with the new and the immediate, these labs are sanctuaries of slowness, where the value of an action is measured not by its speed, but by its longevity and its fidelity to the past. The objects here are not yet ready for the crowd's gaze. They are in a state of convalescence, receiving a care that is both clinical and deeply human. The legacy of this work is a collection that can speak more clearly to future generations. A cleaned painting reveals harmonies of color lost under yellowed varnish. A stabilized manuscript can be safely studied by scholars. A consolidated fresco will not shed its fragments onto the floor. But the greater legacy is the perpetuation of a philosophy, that we are temporary custodians of a cultural inheritance that does not belong to us alone. We hold it in trust. The conservation labs are the practical embodiment of that trust, a daily ritual of responsibility performed with gloved hands and watchful eyes. They ensure that the dialogue between the past and the present does not end in a whisper, but continues, resonant and clear, for those who have not yet arrived to listen. This deep, quiet work of preservation finds a parallel in another kind of Vatican silence, the hushed focus of the scholar. Just as the conservator deciphers the physical language of objects, others are tasked with deciphering the words and ideas preserved on ancient pages. The care of the tangible leads us naturally to the care of the textual, to the vast and silent world of manuscripts. After the meticulous, chemical-aided clarity of the conservation lab, we move to a different kind of clarity, sought in the turning of a page. The next guardians we meet work in a silence broken only by the sound of a pencil on paper, in a room where the air is still and the light is controlled, not for paint, but for parchment. Theirs is the task of making knowledge accessible, of protecting not just the physical page, but the fragile thought it carries across the centuries. There is a particular quality of silence that exists only in certain rooms. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of a profound and focused attention. It is a silence that feels heavy, woven from centuries of concentrated thought. It is the silence of a space where the past is not dead, but merely waiting, pressed between pages, inscribed on vellum, held in a breathless state of potential. This is the silence of the Vatican Library's reading room, a silence that has been cultivated for over 500 years. It is a living silence, one that begins each morning as a ritual and sustains itself throughout the day, a fragile ecosystem of scholarship maintained by an unspoken contract between every person who enters. The Vatican Apostolic Library is not merely a collection, it is a sovereign territory of the mind. Formally established in 1475 by Pope Sixtus IV, its founding was an act of intellectual declaration. It proclaimed that the pursuit of knowledge was a sacred endeavor worthy of its own palace. Today, its holdings are almost incomprehensible in their scale and significance, approximately 80,000 manuscripts, some dating to the first centuries of Christianity, 100,000 prints and drawings, over 1.5 million printed books, and vast collections of coins, medals, and archival documents that trace the contours of Western civilization. Yet for all its historical weight, it remains a working institution. It is not a museum of books, but a laboratory for ideas. Throughout the academic year, its doors open not to tourists, but to a carefully vetted community of scholars from around the globe. Their accreditation is their passport into this unique state within a state. The daily reactivation of this silent world begins before the first researcher arrives. The reading room officially opens at 8:45, but its machinery has been in motion for much longer. Each scholar, having secured their place, will have submitted call slips in advance, precise requests for specific manuscripts or volumes identified by complex shelf marks. These slips are the lifeblood of the library's morning. Before the sun has fully cleared the palace roofs, porters move through the labyrinthine stacks. They navigate long corridors of climate-controlled shelving, their footsteps muffled, their eyes scanning spine labels in the low, consistent light. Their task is a retrieval cycle of immense responsibility. They are not merely fetching books, they are transporting unique, often fragile witnesses to history, from their secure resting places into the hands of contemporary inquiry. The reading room itself imposes its own order. When the researchers take their assigned desks, they enter a realm governed by protocols that are precise, non-negotiable, and designed for a single purpose: preservation. The objects they have requested are not simply loaned, they are entrusted. A set of foam wedges must cradle the spine of a heavy codex. Only pencils are permitted. The permanent mark of a pen is an unthinkable risk. Nothing, not a notebook, not a laptop, not a hand, may rest upon an open page. If a binding is too stiff or fragile to open safely, the researcher must not force it. They must raise a hand and wait for assistance. The reading room supervisor, a figure of quiet authority, moves among the desks. For a first-time researcher, their role is that of a gentle but firm instructor. They demonstrate the correct way to turn a parchment leaf using a weighted string. They explain, without condescension but with absolute clarity, that these rules are not bureaucratic obstacles. They are the conditions of access. They are how this conversation across time is kept alive. The logistics that underpin this serene environment are considerable and constant. The library porters are the unseen couriers of this republic of letters. Their work is a skilled labor of memory and motion. A scholar may request multiple items across a single session: a medieval theological treatise, a Renaissance map, a collection of papal correspondence. Each request necessitates a separate journey into the stacks, a retrieval, and a careful delivery. The porter must know the collection's geography intimately. They must understand the logic of the call number system, a language of letters and numbers that maps onto physical space. Most importantly, they must know how to carry a manuscript box or a heavy folio so that its contents never shift or strain during transit. Their efficiency is quiet, practiced, and essential. They are the link between the stored knowledge and the seeking mind, and their daily routes trace a silent ballet between the reading room and the vaults. The rhythm of the library day has its own tides. The morning is a period of settling in, of initial discoveries. But the midday period, from around 12:30 to 2 in the afternoon, marks a second, deeper peak of activity. Researchers who have been immersed in their morning's work now reach a point of synthesis or new questions. A fresh wave of call slips flows to the porter's desk. This cycle is doubly complex, as it involves not only fulfilling new requests, but also collecting, checking, and beginning the reshelving process for the materials from the morning session. The reading room is now at its fullest. Every carrel is occupied. The air hums with a low energy of concentration. Yet the profound silence holds. It is maintained not by fear of reprimand, but by a collective professional courtesy, a shared understanding of the privilege of this space. The only sounds are the gentle rustle of a page, the scratch of a pencil, the soft click of a digital camera used for permitted study photographs. Consider the physicality of the objects that pass through a porter's hands in a single day. One moment it might be a 9th century copy of Virgil, its parchment pages thin and supple as cloth. The next, a massive choir book from the Sistine Chapel, its pages of vellum so thick they must be turned with both hands. Then perhaps a sheaf of Leonardo da Vinci's notes, the left-handed mirror writing racing across the page beside a sketch of a flying machine. Each item has its own weight, its own balance, its own specific vulnerabilities. The porter's knowledge is tactile. They know which volume requires a supportive tray, which binding should be carried flat, which box contains loose fragments that must not be jostled. This embodied knowledge is accumulated over years, a silent apprenticeship in the care of fragile time. It is a form of custodianship that precedes any intellectual interpretation, a primary act of respect for the physical vessel of thought. As the afternoon light begins to soften and slant through the high windows, a subtle shift occurs. Researchers start to conclude their work, carefully closing manuscripts and assembling their notes. The final retrieval requests taper off. Now begins the most critical operational phase of the day, the reconciliation. Every item that left the security of the stacks must be accounted for. The reading room staff, led by the supervisor, work with methodical precision. As each manuscript or volume is returned from a desk, it is matched against the original call slip. Its condition is briefly checked. The slip is stamped or signed, creating a clear audit trail. The returned items are then gathered for the porter's final journey back to the shelves. In a collection of this magnitude and irreplaceable value, a misplaced item is not a minor clerical error. It is a potential crisis, a rupture in the chain of custody that could mean a unique document becomes lost to scholarship, perhaps for generations. The reconciliation is therefore performed with a solemn, unwavering diligence. It is the library's way of ensuring that the conversation paused at day's end can be seamlessly resumed tomorrow. This daily ritual of retrieval, use, and return is a cycle of trust enacted on a monumental scale. The scholars trust the library to preserve and provide access to the raw materials of history. The library trusts the scholars to treat those materials with the utmost care. And the porters and reading room staff are the stewards of that covenant. Their work ensures that a Greek philosopher's words, copied by a Byzantine scribe, can be pondered by a professor from Tokyo. That a Renaissance pope's personal diary can inform a biographer from Buenos Aires. The library is a grand machine for enabling these encounters, and its smooth operation depends on countless unseen, precise actions. The end-of-day check is the final gear in this machine. It is a moment of collective exhale, confirming that the sacred charge of guardianship has been fulfilled for another day. The silence that then descends upon the empty reading room is different from the working silence of the day. It is an anticipatory silence. The foam wedges are stacked neatly. The pencils are still. The Great Hall, emptied of its temporary inhabitants, seems to hold the echo of the day's concentrated thought. But the work of preservation never truly sleeps. In the climate-controlled stacks, temperature and humidity sensors maintain their vigil. Security systems watch over the silent rows. The objects themselves return to their precise locations, rest. They are dormant but not dead, their knowledge latent, waiting for the next call slip, the next curious mind, the next morning's ritual of reactivation. This daily cycle, of awakening the past for the present, then carefully returning it to its slumber, is the library's eternal rhythm. Yet, in the modern age, a parallel rhythm has emerged. The same imperative that drives the careful handling of a parchment page to preserve and provide access now fuels a monumental technological undertaking. The silent work of the reading room is being complemented by another kind of labor, one that uses the soft glow of scanners instead of reading lamps, that creates digital surrogates to travel where the physical object cannot. The meticulous protocols of the library find their echo in the calibrated procedures of the imaging studio. For as the last manuscript is reshelved and the great doors are locked, the task of ensuring these texts survive for future centuries continues in a new form. It continues in the clean, bright spaces where the past is not just handled, but translated into the language of the future. This is the natural progression from custodianship to transmission. The care exercised in the silent reading room is the essential first step, the foundation upon which all further access is built. Without that physical preservation, there is nothing to digitize. The scholars who decipher faded ink under the library's lamps provide the intellectual context that gives meaning to the millions of pixels captured by the scanners. The two endeavors, the deeply traditional and the profoundly modern, are not in opposition. They are chapters in the same ongoing story. The library porter ensuring a safe journey to a scholar's desk, and the imaging specialist calibrating a camera for color fidelity are united by the same mission. They are both grantors of access, guardians of a fragile thread that connects our present to a deep and complex past. The silence of the reading room, then, is not an end in itself. It is the necessary condition for a louder, wider conversation, a conversation that can now, through the work that follows, echo across the globe. In the silent reading room, a scholar turns a page of parchment. The ink is 1,000 years old. The thought it captures is older still. This moment, this connection across centuries, feels intimate and permanent. But permanence is a fragile concept. Fire, flood, the slow decay of acid in paper, the inevitable fading of light. For centuries, the only defense against time was the making of another copy, by hand, a new vessel for the same words. But what if the vessel could be made of light? What if the book could live in 1,000 places at once, untouched by decay, accessible from anywhere on Earth? This is not a question of replacing the physical object, that sacred artifact. It is a question of creating its immortal echo. Deep within the Vatican Apostolic Library, a quiet revolution is underway. It does not use pens or parchment. It uses calibrated light and precise algorithms. Its goal is to build a library without walls, a reading room that never closes, to make the permanent digital. The Vatican Apostolic Library's digitization program, known as DigiVatLib, is one of the most ambitious endeavors in modern cultural heritage. Its public face is a portal, a website where anyone with an internet connection can call up a manuscript that once required a formal academic application and a journey to Rome. Hundreds of thousands of pages are already there, Bibles painstakingly copied by monastic hands, ancient treatises on astronomy, delicate maps of a world not yet fully known. But behind that simple search bar lies an operation of remarkable complexity. The teams who perform this work are hybrids. They must possess the hands of a conservator, the eyes of a photographer, and the mind of a scholar. Their workflow is a carefully choreographed ballet between the physical and the digital, where every movement is governed by a single principle: do no harm. The object itself, the unique witness to history, is the only irreplaceable thing in the room. Everything else, every piece of technology, exists to serve it. This is not mass production. It is a form of high-fidelity translation, moving content from a medium of atoms to a medium of bits, with absolute fidelity as the only acceptable standard. The process begins not with a camera, but with preparation. A manuscript arrives from the climate-controlled vaults, transported in a protective box. In the imaging studio, the environment is held at a constant temperature and humidity. The technician's first task is to assess the object's condition, noting any existing damage or fragility. Only then does it meet the cradle. This is not a simple bookstand. It is an engineered support system, often custom-built with adjustable foam wedges and gentle restraints. Its sole purpose is to hold the binding open at a safe angle, supporting the weight of each leaf without stressing the centuries-old spine. Before a single shot is taken, the technician performs a calibration ritual. They place a color reference card, a grid of precise grays and saturated hues, and a scale rule in the frame. Is the vellum a creamy white or a deep amber? Is the ink a carbon black or an iron gall brown that has eaten into the page? With calibration complete, the imaging begins. For a bound codex, it is a page-by-page pilgrimage. The technician uses a soft, static-free brush to gently flatten a curled corner. They trigger. A soft beep confirms the capture. They turn the page, using a thin, flexible spatula to lift it without pressure on the edge. Another beep. The rhythm is slow, meditative. For a scroll or a large document, a different system might be used. An overhead scanner that moves a linear array of sensors down the length of the object, capturing it in a single, seamless pass without any contact at all. In every case, the goal is the same: to create a raw digital file that contains more visual information than the human eye can perceive. This file captures the texture of the parchment, the slight rays of ink on the surface, the shadow of a watermark held up to the light. It is a forensic record as much as it is a photograph. But an image without context is an artifact adrift. This is where the second, equally critical phase begins: the creation of metadata. If the imaging studio is the surgery, the metadata workstation is the library. Here, a staff member, often a trained paleographer or art historian, has the digital images open on one screen and a structured data entry form on another. Their task is to describe what this is, where intellectual rigor meets digital architecture. They enter the folio number, the incipit, the opening words of a text, the explicit or closing words. They note the script, Carolingian minuscule, Gothic textualis, a humanist cursive. They describe the decoration, an inhabited initial, a foliate border, a miniature painting of a saint. They record the physical condition, a repaired tear, a wax stain, evidence of bookworm trails. This descriptive work is deceptively profound. The metadata specialist is not just cataloguing for today's researcher. They are building the pathways for researchers 50 or 100 years from now, who may ask questions of this material that we cannot yet formulate. Should they tag every named person, every geographical location, every depicted plant or animal? These decisions are a form of intellectual triage, performed with the weight of the future pressing on every keystroke. The work requires a specific kind of bilingual mind, fluent in the language of ancient materials and the language of modern data standards. They might use controlled vocabularies like the Getty Art and Architecture Thesaurus to ensure consistency. They create links between this manuscript and other related items in the library's vast holdings. This structured metadata is what transforms a folder of beautiful pictures into a navigable, searchable, scholarly resource. A researcher in Buenos Aires can search for all manuscripts that mention a specific medieval theologian, and the search will return results not from the text of digitized books, a computationally immense task, but from these carefully constructed descriptions. The metadata is the map to the treasure. Without it, the digital library is just a warehouse of unnamed boxes. Once imaging and metadata entry are complete, the work is not finished. It enters the phase of quality control. This is a deliberate, painstaking process of verification. The imaging technician, or a dedicated QC specialist, reviews every captured file on a monitor that has itself been professionally calibrated. They zoom in to 100% magnification, scrolling across the image pixel by pixel. They are checking for critical focus. Is the finest hair of a scribe's pen stroke rendered sharply? They check for color fidelity. Does the digital red of a painted miniature match the physical original under the studio lights? They check for completeness. Is there a shadow from a curled corner that obscures text? Is every page in the sequence present and correctly oriented? The standard here is uncompromising. It is not good enough for viewing on a screen. The standard is that this digital file must be capable of serving as the authoritative surrogate for the physical object for most forms of scholarly study. If an image fails any test, the manuscript must be retrieved from its temporary holding area and reshot. The object's journey is not complete until its digital twin is perfect. This relentless focus on quality is what separates a cultural heritage digitization project from simple scanning. It acknowledges that this digital copy may one day outlast the original. It may become the primary access point for generations of scholars. It must therefore carry not just the content, but the material truth of the object. After passing QC, the approved image files and their associated metadata packages are ready for the final step, ingestion into the digital preservation system. This is the moment of commitment. The files are transferred to a secure server, where automated processes take over. The system generates checksums, unique digital fingerprints for each file. It then creates multiple copies, storing them on different types of media in geographically separate locations. One copy might be on spinning disks in a server room, another on archival-grade tape in a secure bunker. This is not just backup, it is a preservation strategy. The integrity of every file is checked regularly against its checksum. If a single bit degrades, a phenomenon called bit rot in the silent, unseen world of data storage, the system can detect it and replace the corrupted file with a clean copy from another location. Digital preservation, as the teams emphasize, is not a project with an end date. It is a permanent commitment, a new kind of stewardship. It requires ongoing vigilance, periodic migration to new file formats as technology evolves, and constant funding. The digital library is not a cheaper alternative to the physical one. It is a new, parallel institution with its own infrastructure and its own forever costs. But its promise is unparalleled, to break the ancient link between access and geography. The treasure is no longer locked in a single room in a single city. It is released into the global commons of knowledge. While the library focuses on its codices and manuscripts, another, even more sensitive operation runs in parallel. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, the repository of the Holy See's diplomatic and administrative records for over a millennium, has its own digital acquisition program. The scale and sensitivity here are of a different order. These are not published books, but unique documents, papal bulls, diplomatic correspondence, trial records, personal letters that shaped the course of history. The archive's digitization work is often focused on entire fondi, or collections, related to a specific period or office. The process is similar in its technical care, but the intellectual framework is different. Here, the metadata is less about describing decorative initials, and more about reconstructing provenance and context. A A single letter from a nuncio might be part of a larger diplomatic packet. Digitizing it in isolation would strip it of meaning. So the archive teams work to create digital finding aids that mirror and enhance the physical ones. They build digital representations of the intricate hierarchies of boxes, folders, and documents. The goal is to allow a researcher in Tokyo to navigate the archive's holdings with the same understanding of structure as a scholar sitting in the physical reading room. This is democratization at the deepest level. It makes the machinery of history, the raw paperwork of power and faith, accessible for global scholarship. The digitization of a single parchment ledger of 16th century expenditures might seem mundane. But within its columns of numbers lie clues about trade routes, social networks, and daily life that historians are only beginning to decode. The work is slow, it is expensive, it requires a rare fusion of technical skill and deep historical empathy. The teams speak of their responsibility in quiet, serious tones. They are not just creating a digital asset, they are building a new kind of memory. They know that a wildfire, a flood, or the slow creep of mold could still claim the physical originals. Their work is an act of faith in the future, a belief that the ideas contained in these objects are too important to be left in one place, on pages that time is determined to reclaim. They are scribes for the digital age, copying not with ink but with light, ensuring that the conversation across the centuries never falls silent. As the sun moves across Rome, casting long shadows through the library's historic halls, the soft beep of a camera shutter and the quiet tap of a keyboard continue. In another part of the Vatican, a different kind of observation is being prepared. Not of texts penned by human hands, but of light from stars that died millions of years ago. The same impulse drives both endeavors, to capture the fleeting, to preserve the signal from the noise of time, to understand our place in a much larger story.